Hello students, today I am going to start the topic maternal effect. So in the last class we have studied extra chromosomal inheritance or maternal inheritance. But maternal effect is different from maternal inheritance. How is it different? See, here I have written the maternal effect is controlled by factors present in the cytoplasm. Okay, as we know, in case of chromosomal inheritance also the factors were present in the cytoplasm. Okay, but what happens is in maternal effect is that in maternal effect the factors which are present in the cytoplasm, they are encoded by the nuclear gene. So this is the difference. In case of maternal effect, the factors which will control the inheritance, they are present in the cytoplasm, but they are encoded by the nuclear genes. Okay, so the example that we are going to study under maternal effect is the shell coiling in Lynmaea peregra. Lynmaea peregra is a species of snail. Okay, this is the scientific name. It is a species of snail, and we will see the type of shell coiling. Fine. So in case of this species Lynmaea peregra, there are two types of cell coiling. Okay, the first one is the left-handed or sinistral, and the second one is the right-handed or dextral. Okay, so now I have a question for you. What can you explain the difference between a phenotype and a genotype? So basically, what is the genotype? Genotype is the genetic makeup of an organism, and phenotype is what we see from outside. Okay, as for an example, we have studied the tall and dwarf trees. Okay, so if it is capital T, it is tall. If it is capital T and small t, then also it is tall. Capital T and small t, then also it is tall. Why? Because T is dominant. Okay, that's why it's tall. Small t and small t will give a dwarf organism. Fine. So genetic makeup is that the alleles that we see, capital T, small t. Okay, and phenotype is the what we see from outside. So now, as we have known the difference between the genotype and phenotype, I would want to go to the different process that we will study under this example of maternal effect. So before going to this process, I want to tell you very important information, that is, in case of maternal effect, the genotype of the mother is responsible for deciding the phenotype of the offspring. Okay, again I am telling the genotype of the mother. Okay, the genotype of the mother will decide the phenotype of the offspring. Fine. So let's see, for our example number 1 or cross number 1, we have taken a female which is dextral and a male which is sinistral. Okay, so dextral means the shell is right hand coiled and sinistral means the shell is left hand coiled. Okay, fine. So see the genotype of the female. What is the genotype? Capital D. Okay, when it's capital D, the phenotype will be dextral. Capital D, phenotype will be dextral. Small d, phenotype will be sinistral. In this cross, the female is dextral. So in the F1 generation, that means the next generation, we see that all the offsprings are dextral. Why? Maternal effect. Because the mother is dextral. Okay, so that's why all the offsprings are dextral. Okay, so now we'll go to the F2 generation, that is the next cross. So what happens in the next cross is that, see, the mother is dextral. The genotype of the mother is capital D, small d. Now we'll come to the different genotypes of the F2 generation. Capital D, small d, capital D, small d, capital D, small d, all are dextral, and then we have a small d, small d. But small d should be sinistral. But in this case, what do we see that the small d is also dextral. Why? Yes, maternal effect, because the genotype of the mother is dextral, that's why we get a dextral. Okay, even if it is small d, we get a dextral phenotype. Now, if we come to the F3 generation, okay, in the F3 generation, see, there is a difference. In the F3 generation, we see the 1:3 ratio, that is the Mendelian ratio. Okay, why do we see that? See, in the F3 generation, we do crosses between these organisms. Okay, that means we will do a cross between capital D and capital D. So what will be the offsprings? Capital D is dextral. Dextral into dextral, all the offsprings will be dextral. Okay, so what is there in the result? Dextral. Now, if we do capital D small d and capital D small d, what are the genotypes we will get? Okay, these are the genotypes: capital D, capital D small d, capital D small d, small d. Fine. So, since the genotype of the mother was dextral, so what will the offsprings be? Dextrals. All the offsprings will be dextral. Okay. Now let's come to this. When we cross two small d, what is the phenotype? Can you get me? See here, the genotype is small d, and the phenotype of the offspring is dextral. Okay. Now come here. If we do a cross between the small d, what is written there? That all the offsprings will be sinistral. It's quite confusing, na? Mother is dextral, offspring is sinistral. How?
Maternal.
Yes, maternal effect. You know why? Because we have to see the genotype and not the phenotype. Phenotype is dextral. Why? Because the mother was dextral. But in this case, even though the phenotype was dextral, but the genetic makeup of the mother was of a sinistral type. That's why in the F3 generation, we get that in a cross between two recessive parents, we get the sinistral. Okay, so this. Same if we do the reciprocal cross. Okay, when we do a reciprocal cross, in this cross, see, we take the male. Okay, the father is a dextral and the mother is sinistral. Fine. So what will the F1 generation be? The F1 generations will be sinistral. Why? Because maternal effect. Because the genotype of the mother is sinistral. That's why all the offsprings will be sinistral. Again, in the F2 generation, because in the F2 generation, what will happen? Because the mother was sinistral, okay, there is a mistake. Phenotype is sinistral. But what is the genotype? Capital D, small d. Who will have the dominant effect? Yes, because the genotype is capital D, small d. What will they be? Yes, they will be dextral. You get me? Okay, so did you understand now?
Yes.
Why it's not sinistral? Okay, is it clear? Capital D, small d. Even though if mother is phenotype is sinistral, her offsprings will be dextral. Why? Because the genotype is capital D, small d, dextral. Okay, is it clear now?
Yes,
so again, when we go to the F3 generation, the process are similar. If we do a cross between capital